Good afternoon. Welcome to St. Genevieve's Patriotic 4th of July celebration. Please stand for the posting of the colors.
Presidente Arms.
I think we'll wait for the pealing of the bells to finish, as that is traditional. Please remain standing as Olivia Smith of the St. Genevieve Junior Milice will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm not sure when the bells. Yeah. On June 7, 1776, in the Pennsylvania State House, later called Independence Hall, the Continental Congress heard Richard Henry Lee of Virginia read his resolution beginning, "Resolved that these united colonies are, and of a right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved." After this, the Continental Congress recessed for 3 weeks. A committee of 5 was appointed to draft a statement presenting the world the colony's case for independence. The committee consisted of 2 New England men, John Adams of Massachusetts, Roger Sherman of Connecticut, 2 men from the Middle Colonies, Benjamin Franklin of Pennsylvania, and Robert R. Livingston of New York, and 1 Southerner, Thomas Jefferson of Virginia. Jefferson was the main architect of the document, with minor revisions from Adams and Franklin. On July 1st, 1776, Congress reconvened. The following day, July 2nd, the Lee Resolution for Independence was adopted by 12 of the 13 colonies, New York not voting. Immediately afterward, the Congress began to consider the Declaration. The discussion in Congress resulted in some alterations and some deletions, but the basic document remained Jefferson's. The process of revision continued through all of July 3rd and into the late morning of July 4th. Then at last, church bells rang out over Philadelphia. The Declaration had been officially adopted. On the morning of July 5th, copies of the Declaration was dispatched by members of Congress to various assemblies, conventions, and committees of safety, as well as the commanders of the Continental troops. Please welcome James Baker, who will now read an excerpted copy of the Declaration of Independence.
Thank you, Bob. Just like Benjamin Franklin, these are a requirement for me today. Sorry. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of the mankind require that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. In every stage of these oppositions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. Following this, the founders listed 28 reasons why they felt we should declare our independence from Great Britain. The Declaration continues. They have been deaf to the voice of justice and consanguinity. We must, therefore, acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them, as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, peace in friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that, as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other things and acts which independent states may of right to do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Thank you.
I would now like to invite the St. Genevieve Milice to fire a salute in honor of the Declaration of Independence. In 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was read in various towns and throughout the colonies, the citizens responded with concerts, parades, and the firing of cannons and muskets. The first annual celebration of the 4th took place in Philadelphia the next year, 1777, and with it, the tradition of setting off fireworks. The Pennsylvania Evening Post reported that year, at night there was a grand exhibition of fireworks, which began and concluded with 13 rockets on the Commons, and the city was beautifully illuminated. While a number of St. Genevieve citizens participated in the Revolutionary War at the Battle of St. Louis in 1780, St. Genevieve did not become an American town until 1804. The first recorded 4th of July celebration occurred in St. Genevieve in 1811. Missouri's first newspaper, the Louisiana Gazette, founded in 1808 in St. Louis, reported, pursuant to previous arrangement, a large number of mechanics and respectable citizens of the town of St. Genevieve met at 12 o'clock on a high eminence back of Dr. Elliott's, where an arbor had been prepared for their accommodation. It's that hill just at the end of 3rd Street is where they met. At 2 o'clock, the company sat down to an elegant repast provided for the occasion, after which 18 toasts were drunk, accompanied by the firing of a 9-pounder of a 9-pounder after each toast. Poems such as the Ode to the 4th of July, Ode to Science were read. Songs including Yankee Doodle Dandy, Washington March, Speed the Plow, and Bluebird were sung. And for other toasts, 2 to 4 cheers were given. It's amazing. The last toast was to the fair ladies of St. Genevieve. I imagine after 12 toasts, when the guys went home, they probably needed to be in the good graces of the wives. As you enjoy today's 4th of July holiday with either fireworks, picnics, barbecues, or other gatherings, take a moment to celebrate the reason for the day, as we've discussed, and thank all who have contributed to ensuring our freedoms, especially those citizens who gave the ultimate sacrifice. In that Battle of Fort St. Louis in 1780, we lost our first soldier in battle. And over the years, and up until just a few years ago in Afghanistan, we lost another of our sons. I believe Abraham Lincoln summed up the spirit of the 4th of July best in his 1863 Gettysburg Address, which starts out, we all know this, we learned it in school. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. He ended that short discussion with these lines: "We here highly resolve that these dead," he's speaking of those 60-some thousand people that were killed or wounded at the Battle of Gettysburg. He says, "We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." Now ask for the St. Genevieve Milice to retire the colors. I'd like to thank Olivia Smith, Jim Baker, and especially the St. Genevieve Milice, who's always out to show our colors. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us for this patriotic 4th of July event in historic St. Genevieve. May God bless you and your families, and may God bless America. Have a wonderful day.